What is up YouTube? I'm Royal, I'm rank 1 Wildrift, and Teemo is one of my best and favorite champions. For those of you that have been following me for a long time, you know that the young Timothy was one of the main reasons we were able to get Challenger on the Chinese server, the hardest server in Wild Rift, on 300 ping. And in this video, we will go over everything you need to know about Teemo. Whether you have never played him before or you're a Teemo main, this video will teach you something new while covering all the basics. So welcome to Beginner to Pro, the series where I take a champion and I take you from a complete beginner or even an advanced player to how to be the best at this champion. First, we will cover what Teemo even is. Then his abilities, his matchups, how to counter the little Yordle, and I will explain how to properly build a Teemo. Not just what the best items are right now, but how to properly build him based on situations. And finally, we will take a look at a couple of gameplays, one for Baron lane and one for the mid lane, and we'll apply everything we've learned. Let's start off with Teemo's identity as a champion. Teemo is one of the most unique champions in the game. He functions as an ambush assassin, but he has strong sustained damage, and his ultimate adds a whole new dimension to the game and forces the enemy team to constantly look out for the invisible mushrooms. A lot of players see Teemo as an AP marksman and build Nashor's Tooth to increase their DPS. While Nashor's Tooth can be a fine item, and I will explain when it is best to build it in the build section of the video, what you need to understand is that Teemo is not an AP marksman. He's an ambush assassin. He needs to burst down enemies when he comes out of his invisibility, then utilize his rooms to bait enemies and escape. Another thing you have to keep in mind with Teemo is his late game is absolutely insane. He scales extremely well and is very hard to deal with later into the game, especially because of his ultimate. Okay, let's look at Teemo's abilities and combos that you will be using. I'm going to be breaking down the abilities and giving you tips that even if you're a Teemo main, you might not know. Starting off with his passive, which is his most important ability, and pay close attention to Toxic Shot because it's not as simple as it sounds. So your attacks deal 24 damage, or they deal a base damage and a 20% AP scaling. And then they also have a poison tick, which happens every second for 4 seconds, and you can reapply that. However, it only gets reapplied, right? So building attack speed on Teemo, while it's good generally and you want to have attack speed because of the impact damage, what you have to keep in mind is that the tick poison damage actually does quite a bit more damage, right? Each second it does 32, which is already higher than the base damage of the impact, and then 9% AP for 4 seconds, which if you multiply it by 4 is 36% AP, which again is quite a bit more than the impact. So when I'm auto-attacking this dummy, they take, look at this, they take from the base auto-attack, they will take 12 damage, 12 magic damage, and then each tick after will do 16, right? So the impact does quite a bit less damage than the poison, which again, it happens every second of 4 seconds. So your main goal is just to reapply this poison every 4 seconds, so it's constantly running. And it's not necessarily to sit there and auto-attack the enemy champion, and this is why I don't think Nashor's Tooth in general is that great on Teemo, because it's more about applying the poison than constantly auto-attacking. Because the 20% AP scaling is simply not that great, even though you get 25% more with Nashor's Tooth. Yes, Nashor's Tooth can be played, and I will explain in the build section when you should go about it, but this is all to pretty much explain that Teemo is not necessarily a champion that wants to just sit there and auto-attack over and over again, right? He's a champion that wants to do his little burst combo, get out, get back in, bait the enemies into your shrooms, right? Throw your shrooms from a distance. He's not a champion that just sits there and auto-attacks like a Jinx, right? Moving on to his first ability, and that's Blinding Dart. This is Teemo's like signature ability, right? The blind. Once you throw it, the enemy is blinded for up to 2 seconds on max rank. This is incredible versus auto-attack based champions because for 2 seconds they pretty much can't do damage to you, right? So when you're ambushing the enemy ADC, you auto-attack them first, right? You do auto-attack and then first ability to cancel the rest of the auto-attack animation, right? Look at how slow Teemo's auto-attacks are. Right, I'm auto-attacking and look how long before I can move. But if you do auto-attack first ability, it kind of goes immediately, right? Auto-attack first ability and then auto-attack again, especially if you have fleet footwork, you're going to be able to do the auto-attack a lot faster. right? And they're blind for 2 seconds, so they cannot damage you back. That's why Teemo excels against auto attack based champions. This is also Teemo's main combo, right? Auto attack, first ability, auto attack. Moving on to his second ability. The second ability is really crucial, and we actually max it second. We don't max our third ability, we max our second ability second because of the passive movement speed. Look how fast I am out of combat. And I don't even have it maxed, right? If I give myself a couple more levels and I max it out, you can see that out of combat, I currently have 453 MS with no boots, right? This is how much champions with boots have. And of course, when you actually use it, you get a little burst of movement speed, you get a little tumble, which is kind of like a small dash. And then your movement speed is the bonus movement speed, which is 30%, gets doubled for 3 seconds. The passive movement speed goes away if you get hit by an enemy champion or an enemy structure. However, the active, even if you do get hit, stays on. So you're using your passive movement speed, you're doing damage, whatever. You get hit, you can use your second ability to get out really quickly and then kite out the enemies, because there's no way that they can keep up with your huge burst of movement speed. So it's an incredible tool to escape. Your third ability, Guerrilla Warfare, camouflages you, right? This isn't exactly invis, it's camouflage, meaning that if somebody gets within this small circle, they can see me. After you exit, you gain attack speed from 30% all the way up to 60%, and the attack speed duration goes from 3 seconds all the way up to 6 seconds. So you get a lot of attack speed later on, so you want to be using this ability right before you fight and coming out of camouflage to fight, similar to Twitch in a way, very similar to Twitch. The awesome thing is that while you're in a bush, you can keep using it, and as you can see on my third ability, the thing is not going down. But now when I'm away from the bush, you can see the timer start to go off. And it works with how much you've moved, right? So when I'm moving, it goes off. If I just stand still, it doesn't go off, right? So this is a great ability to become the ambush assassin that we're talking about. Use your third ability, and this is also your main combo, right? Let me just refresh. So this is your main combo. You are ambushing the enemies, you go from invis, auto attack, first ability, auto attack, and then you run away with your second ability, or you chase after them if you need more damage. Ideally, before you've even started your combo, right, you've played some mushrooms. So now you go in with your third ability, auto attack, first ability, auto attack, and then you run to your mushrooms. So they can't chase you, they're gonna be stuck hitting your shrooms. Speaking of shrooms, let's talk about Teemo's last ability, his Noxious Trap. You place a shroom that detonates if the enemy steps on it, and it deals quite a bit of damage with a decent AP scaling over 3 seconds, and it slows the enemies for 3 seconds, which is really crucial too, because if they step on the mushroom, you can turn around, or attack them a couple times, and then run away again. The slow goes up to 50%, which is insane, and as you put points on it, the max range of where you can throw your shroom gets quite big. Let's look at it on max level. Look how big it can get. And the cool thing about Teemo shrooms is that you can bounce them on top of each other. So when you're in a team fight and I'm like auto-attacking this enemy, right, I can throw a shroom, it'll blow up, I can keep throwing shrooms, and if I throw them really quick in the team fight, I can keep kind of zoning the enemies away and kiting them because they get slowed. So even in team fights, you need to remember to keep throwing down your shrooms. It's really hard in team fights for the enemy to react to it and play around it and, you know, move around it. And also you have to keep in mind that the shroom is AoE. It hits all 3 enemies. Lastly, let's talk about shroom placement. The best placement for shrooms is the jungle entrances and the objectives. So when a team is doing Baron, right, and they're the blue side team and they're walking from here, they're very likely to step on a shroom place here or here. It's not actually a great placement because it's kind of bounced. Right here as they come in for the Baron. Other good spots are these tribe bushes, right? When you're laning especially, you can use the shrooms as wards. Usually junglers will come through the bush to gank you, so it's some extra coverage. In lane, it's really good to place a shroom, of course, on the Scorpion to kind of stop the enemy from getting the Scorpion. And keep in mind that because they're poisoned for 3 seconds, plus if you have Leandries, it'll take so long before they can take the Scorpion because they have to not be getting damaged. Obviously, the bushes are where most people place them, but that's not ideal because your enemy kind of knows when you're playing Teemo that they're going to be in the bushes. Where I like to place them is right behind me where the minions are. So let's say that the minions are right here in the middle. I would throw my shrooms in these types of positions. So when my enemy does go in on me, I can immediately run back to my shrooms and win the trade. You will see a lot of that when we jump into the gameplay. Later into the game, when you're ambushing enemies, so for example, there's a Baron fight happening, and you guys see this in the gameplays as well. There's a Baron fight happening. What I might do is throw some shrooms in the back where I think the enemies might escape to. So when the fight starts and we're hitting them, first of all, I can always run back into my shrooms. But if the enemies are trying to escape, let's say a fight's happening and now they're trying to escape, I can chase them down and they will step into the shrooms. Other things to keep in mind is try to get rid of these blasting of these vision plants whenever you can, because if the enemy hits them, it will expose all your shrooms. So you want to make sure that you're getting rid of those as much as possible, and also placing your shrooms in a way where the enemy can just sweep them all with one of those blasting plants, right? If I place them all around the Baron area right now, right, let's say I have a bunch of shrooms around this area, and the enemy comes here and it hits the blasting plant or hits the vision plant, they will see all the shrooms and they will easily take them down. So I might spread one over here, I might spread one over here, I might put one over here. So this way, no matter how they use the plant, not all of them will go missing before a Baron fight. Obviously, a lot of enemies will also use the sweeper trinket or the controller trinket to get rid of your shrooms. So you don't want to pile up too many in one area, even during objectives. And you also want to be able to defend them with your team. So for example, if the enemies are coming to check the vision on Baron, if I have some defensive shrooms like that here, right? Let's say this is my shroom placement and the enemy comes in. It's really hard for them to sweep them because they kind of have to face check into us and I can DPS them down. If they go in on me, I can run back to my shrooms and my team can hopefully follow up. Obviously, you're going to see a lot more of these the shroom placement in-game when we look at our two different gameplays. But for now, let's jump into Teemo's best builds. Okay, so Teemo actually has one of the most complicated builds in the game because of how many options he has. There's so many good Teemo items, right? Even just looking at all the magic damage AP items, there's just so many good ones, right? Morello Nomcon works incredibly well with Teemo because his passive keeps applying it for 4 more seconds. So usually after you do a magic damage ability, the Grievous Wounds would last 3 seconds. But with Teemo, just one auto attack keeps the Morello Nomcon for 7 seconds, so it's incredible. Rabadon's, of course, one of the best items on every AP champion, especially if you're building full AP. Rally is actually terrible on Teemo because it doesn't work with his passive, and your ultimate already slow, so it's not a good item. Leandris is, of course, a must build on Teemo because your passive keeps applying it over and over again, your shrooms keep applying it over and over again, so it lasts way longer, so this is a must build. Lichbane is actually really good because of your basic auto attack first ability, auto attack combo. Archangel is not needed, you don't need the mana. Nasser's Tooth again is really good because a lot of Teemo's damage comes from his auto attacks. Infinity Orb is a surprisingly good item on Teemo. It gives him the movement speed that he needs, and the critical strike works on his passive damage. So after you auto attack, and you'll see this on the gameplay because I do build Infinity Orb quite often on Teemo, and I'll explain when to build it and when not to build it. But when you auto attack just one time, right, and they're below 35% health, that final tick will do the extra, those ticks will do the extra 20% bonus damage, and it just does so much damage that you can literally kill enemies with just an auto attack, first ability auto attack, and you will start critting on your passive damage. Crystalline Reflector is not very good. Shattered Queen is a great item because again with Teemo you go in, auto attack, first ability auto attack, and then your goals kind of run away. If you're able to block a Malphite ult, a Leona stun, whatever it might be, the enemy engage, it will set you up to easily be able to run away and kite out the enemies. Cosmic Drive does not work with your passive. If it did, then it would be incredible, but it doesn't. Riftmaker is another great item with Teemo because you attack once, and just one auto attack will get you the full Riftmaker stacks because it lasts for 4 seconds. Riftmaker is only 3 seconds, and you will even get the true damage proc on the last tick of your passive. And then obviously it's very easy to keep up. Just one more attack after 4 seconds, and you can keep your Riftmaker up for pretty much ever. Ocean Strident is great against shield champions, right? Horizon Focus is not very good on Teemo. Psychic Projector is not very good. Awakened Soul Stealer is not very good. And Malignance is really good because Teemo has such a low cooldown on his ultimate. And of course, because of the way that his ultimate works. The enemies are losing their magic resist, and then they're taking damage from his ultimate because it happens in ticks and doesn't happen right away, right? So Malignance is another incredible item on Teemo now that just came out. Band of Fantasy is not great on Teemo, but Ruin's Hurricane is actually it's okay. The problem with Ruin's Hurricane is that it doesn't give him a lot of damage, but it allows you to apply your passive on multiple targets. However, I wouldn't recommend it. It's a very niche item on Teemo. Now let's look at what your build should look like now that we've explained the items that are good and bad. Another thing I do want to mention is actually the boots. Boots of Mana are usually the way to go, but Teemo is actually very good with both Plate Steel Caps and Mercury Treads if you go for a slightly tankier build. Also, Teemo is an okay user of Heartsteel. If you are playing against a matchup that will let you get free Heartsteel attacks and you do want to play him a little tankier, you can easily go Heartsteel with Riftmaker and be an absolute monster in team fights. I think I have a Break the Meta tank Teemo build that you can check out. But now let's focus on the actual tryhard build. So this is your common Teemo build against tankier champions that you'll be facing in the Baron lane. You can choose to go for tanky boots, or you can choose to go for boots of mana for your max damage, right? Riftmaker is great, especially because it's a really good answer to Merc Treads, which are extremely common counter to Teemo. Whenever you play Teemo, your enemies are always going to be rushing Merc Treads if they're good at the game. Especially if you have other magic damage users in your team. So Riftmaker is the only real counter that Teemo has, and because the enemies are not building damage since they went for tank boots, the fights will last longer because they're very tanky. So as the fight lasts longer, the Omnivamp plays into it as well, and it helps you stay more in lane, and it's a great answer to that. Liandry's Torment is just a must on Teemo. I always build Liandry's as my second item. It's just too important, there's too much damage, it's too perfect for Teemo, so pretty much always you're building Liandry second. Then you can choose between Malignance, you can choose between Nashor's Tooth, if the enemies are truly really tanky, so if you're playing against just a bruiser tank in the top lane that can't really kill you, but you want to keep chasing them down or attacking them over and over again, Nashor's Tooth can work. Here's where you can also get Lichbane if the enemies are squishy, to just attack first ability, attack and do some insane damage. You can also build Infinity Orb. If, yes, while the enemies start off tanky, now you're roaming and you're hitting the other enemies, Infinity Orb is your best answer against squishies. Of course, Malignance, we already explained why it's a great item. If you are gonna be focusing more on your shrooms, then Malignance is great. Or you can even go Death Cap third, that's up to you. For your last couple items, I pretty much always go Crown unless I'm being very greedy, but again, you can take any of these items. Now, Morellonomicon, this is an item that you can rush if you want to, if you're playing against a champion that heals a lot. If the enemies have like a Soraka or whatever the situation might be. I don't think this is a must get every time the enemy champions have a bit of healing, but I would definitely build it on versus Aatrox, for example. Versus Darius, I might not build it. Even though he has a heal with his first ability, I would just be more cautious to dodge that heal, since Teemo is so mobile with his first ability, right? So maybe in those situations you wouldn't need Morellonomicon. Versus Mundo, obviously you're going to build it. So it really depends on your matchup and the enemy team. Moving on to your runes. I'll talk about a few different runes. I personally like Fleet Footwork the most, especially in the Baron lane, because that allows you to kind of go in and out. It feels very smooth to do your attack first ability, attack combo with Fleet Footwork because of the 100% attack speed increase, but the extra movement speed also allows you to go in and out. Your other choices are Airy, which you can proc multiple times throughout the fight because your poison is constantly ticking, so whenever our area comes back to you, it's gonna hit them, and also works with your ultimate. Phase Rush, I think, is overkill. I think if you're gonna go Phase Rush, you're better off just going Fleet Footwork. Concord does not work well on Teemo. Empowerment is okay, but I'm not a big fan of it. If you are in these matchups where you are gonna attack a lot, it can be decent, right? I still think you might as well go Fleet Footwork in those cases, so you can also kite out. Grasp is decent if you go for the tank build. Again, you should check out my tank Teemo build. In that case, Lethal Tempo is not good because you're not going to be auto-attacking that much with Teemo. First Strike and Electrocute are your other options for Burst Teemo, right? Electrocute will give you more damage, but First Strike will give you more gold, especially in the Baron lane where you can constantly proc First Strike against those bruiser champions that don't have long range abilities, right? If I'm playing versus a Renekton, I can farm first strike in pretty much every trade, right? I'm always going to be the one striking first. However, if you're playing in the mid lane, for example, versus champions that do outrange you, and you're not always able to get the first auto attack, Electrocute will give you more damage and will be more consistent to proc. So for the most part, what I do is if I'm playing mid lane, or if I can't easily proc first strike and I'm looking to do burst, I go Electrocute. If I'm in the Baron lane and I want to get more gold, then I'll go for strike. But for the most part, in the Baron lane, I will be going for fleet footwork. In the mid lane, I'm more inclined to go for these burst builds in general and go for the Electrocute, right? If I'm playing for these longer trades with the Riftmaker and Leandries, I'll go for strike. And if I'm playing for the pure burst, I'll be going the Infinity Orb with either Electrocute or First Strike. I think I said First Strike before too, I'm in Fleet Footwork, excuse me. For the rest of your rooms, if you're going for this Baron lane scaling type of build, Gathering Storm is really good. You can go Brutal if you really want a stronger early game, but I find Gathering Storm is just overall more value because Team actually has pretty decent AP scalings. Giant Slayer versus tanky champions. Coup de Grog and Squishies. If you're low HP on Teemo, you're better off just leaving because you're so squishy, so I don't really like Last Stand. Alacrity is great and it's usually should be your go-to because again, Teemo auto-attacks quite a bit, so Alacrity synergizes super well with him. Lastly, Bone Plating is great because again, you do your 1-2 combo, auto-attack, first ability, auto-attack, and then you try to run out, so you might take quite a bit of burst while trying to run out, and Bone Plating being able to block that damage is very, very useful on Teemo. Moving on to your other rune set, if you're gonna go for more burst, Electrocute, and so on, Sudden Impact actually works really well with your third ability, and the recent buff to the movement to Sudden Impact that gives you movement speed is actually pretty clutch and allows you to get out of those situations quite fast, right? You use your third ability, your Invis, auto attack, first ability, auto attack, you proc Sudden Impact, you get the movement speed, and it helps you run away even faster. Additionally, you can go Scorch. It's going to be a little better in the early game, but Sudden Impact will definitely be better later on. Then you can go for Empowered Attack, which again, you go with Teemo does a lot of damage with your attacks, so it makes sense. And then you can choose between Eyeball Collector or Zombie Ward. Both are fine choices. For Solo Cube, since there's so many kills happening all the time, Eyeball Collector is quite easy to stack, but Zombie Ward is also really, really good. And then lastly, again, you're probably going for Bone Plating. Even if you want to be really greedy, you can go for Gathering Storm here, but it's honestly too greedy. I would just recommend going Bone Plating. For your spells, you're pretty much always going Flash Ignite. Yes, if you go for a little tankier build, right, where you're going for the Riftmaker and you want these extended trades, you can look to go for Ghost or even Barrier. And versus some matchups, Exhaust is actually a decent choice too. For example, Jace or Riven, champions that can easily have access to get on top of you, right? Those champions you can exhaust, so when they are on top of you, they don't just insta-kill you, right? And for every other matchup, I would just go Ignite, that's your usual. It helps you with your burst combo, you go Invis, auto attack, first ability, auto attack, and Ignite. That's usually enough to kill squishes in the mid to late game if you've gotten yourself ahead. So that's what I recommend going for. I'm pretty sure I covered most things about Teemo's build. If you do have any questions, please leave them down in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them for you. But now let's jump into the gameplay. Okay, little side note, before we go into the gameplay, I actually want to talk about how to counter Teemo, right? Because a lot of you don't actually main Teemo, you're just watching this video for overall knowledge. So I'm going to show you how to quickly counter Teemo and what the best champions against him are. So, starting off with runes. Second Wind is a must against Teemo, because even though his poison works really well with Mortal Nomicon or with Leandry's Torment, it actually has a downside of constantly doing damage. So Second Wind keeps getting procced over and over again and regenerating a lot of HP for your champion. So if you're playing a high HP champion, any melee champion, honestly, Second Wind is an extremely good answer against Teemo. Now the champions that are good against Teemo, right, it's mostly champions that can reliably damage Teemo without being auto-attack based. Champions that can burst him down. One of the best counters is the newest champion, Ryze, right? Ryze can just one-shot Teemo just by walking up to him, and he's too tanky for Teemo to take down. Other counters in the Baron lane include champions like Rumble, right? Rumble can keep using his heat and dealing damage to Teemo without auto-attacking, and if Teemo makes the mistake of blinding and it's on cooldown, then Rumble can use his overheat to go ham on Teemo and get a free kill. Heimerdinger is another choice for the Baron lane, right? And champion that's not based on auto attacks, and it's really hard for Teemo to do anything. Akali can just ult him, go into her shroud, and just kill Teemo pretty quickly before she can answer. In the mid lane, something like a Zed or again Akali, but Zed, you just one-shots Teemo. You can even dodge his blind with your ultimate. But also in the mid lane, Teemo struggles a lot against these long-range mages. Champions that he can't really get on top of and just one-shot him. Kassadin is a great answer to Teemo. He just one-shots him before Teemo can do anything. Champions like Syndra are deadly against Teemo because Teemo can't even begin to gain range, and even if he pops out of Invis, Syndra can just immediately burst him. Aurelion Sol works fine against Teemo because Aurelion Sol's damage is just higher than Teemo's. Veigar can work well against Teemo. You just one-shot him before he can do anything. You just have to be a little careful in the early game. Yasuo is okay against Teemo, surprisingly, because you can use the Wind Wall to block out a lot of his damage. And again, Teemo's pretty squishy, so every champion that can really get on top of him will beat him. I think Yasuo is actually more of a skill matchup. I was trying to say counter. But that's how you counter Teemo. In the Baron lane, it is a little harder to counter Teemo. That's why I recommend playing him in the Baron lane. That's why I prefer playing. Because a lot of these Baron lane champions can really keep up with Teemo, just poking them, and then running away or being too tanky to take down. So a lot of these matchups are skill matchups, like the Riven, like the Darius. I think they're Teemo favored, but they are skill matchups. If Teemo does make a mistake, it's very easy for these champions to just beat him up, right? Just run on top of him. Garen, the same thing. If Teemo makes a mistake and he's not able to blind the silence, it's very easy for Garen just to one-shot the Teemo. Camille will outscale him, and if he's trapped in the ultimate, he's kind of doomed. Ornn is like a tank, so you just play safe and scale, right? So Teemo does have quite a few answers as a counter. You just have to understand how to play each matchup. But yeah, the most obvious counters are champions like Ryze, Rumble, Akali, maybe a Zed. Okay, now let's move on to gameplay. Finally, let's look at the gameplays and apply all the knowledge that we've learned. The goal of this gameplay is to be as informative as possible. So we're playing a pretty standard matchup in the Baron lane, which is Teemo versus Renekton, and I'll show you exactly how to handle some of these bruisers. So level 1, Teemo is one of the strongest champions in the game in the Baron lane because he can of course abuse his range. So we're gonna immediately do that. We're gonna look to get as many auto attacks as we can while staying out of range of Renekton's auto attacks, right? That's the goal. And we're only gonna last hit minions when they're very low on HP, so we can have more time to harass the Renekton. If we push the wave, he'll just be able to easily last hit under turret. So he actually started with his second ability, which I didn't expect. However, it's still gonna be a good trade for us. So level 1, make sure that you're abusing Teemo's range, but staying out of range of the enemy's abilities. If the enemy, for example, is a set and he can grab you with his third ability, you need to be very careful of that. I actually did not expect Renekton to be level 2 there. Okay, but we are able to trade the 1-for-1, but he got the first blood, so it's not ideal. However, look at the minion wave state. He was able to get level 2 by pushing the wave a little more than us. So the wave will be pushing into us, which is a good thing. I was definitely caught off guard there. I didn't expect him to be level 2 before us, right? So it was a bit of a mismanagement of the wave for us. But that's completely okay. We trade the 1-for-1. Ideally, we don't both want to be extremely low HP because he does always have the potential to flash on us and one-shot us. So that's something we need to be cognizant of when we play Teemo. So now again, because the wave is pushing into us, it's even easier to poke him down because he has to overextend to last hit. This is why we're never pushing. We're only last hitting with Teemo, right? We did a great job at blocking his second ability there with our blind. And now he's just completely zoned off from the minions. It's so hard for him to overextend. We're going to use our little trick where we go back into the lane out of vision. And you're going to see me use this trick a lot. Oh, he's messing up here. We can maybe look for a kill. Oh, we're not in range of the final auto attack. That sucks. But this is a trick that you're gonna see me do a lot, which is go out of vision. I don't think I fully went out of vision there, so the enemy, so the Renekton, like easily just walked away. He knew that was coming. He saw me go invis, right? But a trick you can do a lot with Teemo is go out of vision, go invisible, and then walk in and do a lot of damage. Where it's gonna base for a Boots of Mana, right? Always rush Boots on Teemo. We could go for the Armor Boots too if we want this in this matchup, but I'd rather go for more damage. Obviously it didn't work this way, and then every time you go out of vision, your enemy will also be worried. They're like, oh, did he go out of vision to try and kill me? What's going on, you know? Again, we're out of vision, so we immediately go invisible. Now I kind of kite this minion wave so it doesn't hit my shroom, and I can always have my shroom for protection. I'm placing the shrooms in a way where I can always run into the shrooms and defend myself. He's pretty low, so we can look for a kill here. And there's 2 shrooms there. He's gonna step in one of them. There he goes. And Bessa is here to help us secure the kill, but her help was definitely not needed. We still had Ignite up. And that's the strategic placement of the shrooms, right? He overcommitted to a bad trade, and then she couldn't escape because we had his path blocked with our shrooms. We're just gonna push the wave quickly before we base. I'm definitely gonna be going for Riftmaker because Renekton is so tanky and he's gonna be rushing Merc Treads. So I'm greedy for plate. Oh! Okay, so I did get greedy for the plate, but because he stepped on this room, we were able to take tower aggro and just take the execute, which was a clutch play by us, low-key. But yeah, we're gonna be rushing the Riftmaker because Renekton is probably going for his tank boots. We're just gonna get the components which give you the most value for your buck, right? You get the most HP and AP. I don't really care about the different passives or the ability haste. I just want raw stats, AP and HP to survive this lane. It seems like he's not going for the Scorpion, so we're gonna go take that. Scorpion is really good against Teemo because it allows the enemy team to easily push into you and crash the wave under turret and reset the lane, kind of. And now we're going back into poking. Place the shroom behind him, and again, he's gonna probably walk into one of these shrooms. There we go. We can chase him down. We have Ignite as well. We have our second ability to kite him out. Perfect kiting. We're not gonna be able to get a kill because he's so tanky. He already has his magic resist boots. But we are gonna probably push him out of lane. We can maybe get another plate or get a kill here. We see Xin Zhao in the top lane, so we're not worried. It seems like he didn't base, so maybe we can get a kill here. That's not gonna be enough, but we're gonna go back, go invisible, and we're able to pick up an easy kill. Thank you very much, Renekton. And we're gonna immediately look to push the wave and pick up another easy plate. So we're doing very, very good in this lane already. There we go, pick up the plate, break his plant as well. We can even look for another plate and another wave before we recall. This is a little greedy because my jungler is going for the objective. So it depends on if there's gonna be a trade of objectives. So it could be a little greedy here because we're not gonna have an item. However, if Renekton does choose to run straight into the objective, he's gonna be losing out on a lot of minions. So I'm just looking around in case I have to cancel my recall, but it seems like I'm fine to base. And the junglers will just be trading objectives, or maybe Xin Zhao won't even be able to get the dragon. Okay, he's on the dragon. That makes sense. So I'm just gonna run back to my lane. Again, we're gonna go invisible before we get in range of his vision. Seems like maybe he saw us there, which is a little unfortunate. We're gonna place the shroom out of the way that the minion wave works, right? The minion wave walks, it's gonna walk right next to it now, so it shouldn't trigger it. Okay, he used the blasting plant to break our shroom, but that's completely fine. Not the blasting plant, excuse me, the vision plant. Now we're just gonna use the Scorpion to pressure him. We're so far ahead that even if he gets on top of us, we're gonna be able to run away. He won't have enough damage to kill us, and we'll win the long trade with the Riftmaker. Trying to look for some poke, break his bone plating as well. Big mistake from him to go bone plating instead of second wind. Yep, he walks straight into this room. Again, we're sitting on top of our shrooms, making it really, really hard for him to ever fight us. Placing another shroom there to run back to. Now with the Riftmaker, I'm feeling very confident. He's very low on HP. We can even look for a dive. I just don't want to take turret shots. Oh, I actually got stunned under turret, which is really bad, especially because Xin Zhao is here. I can flash away. Oh, we barely survive. Oh, Xin Zhao is looking very greedy. Drop the blind on him. Oh, that's a very greedy Xin Zhao. And Ambessa should be able to follow up and get the Renekton as well. Oof. Kind of a mistake for me to get stunned under turret there, but I did have my shroom. So I flashed out into my shroom. Xin Zhao stepped on it. Kind of a bad gank from Xin Zhao too, who's 0-4. He's not playing very well. Jungle diff. Have a bad gank from him. I think you could have killed me if he played still a little better. Gonna take the turret as well. Mid lane turret also falls. So I'm realizing that I'm very, very close to my Leandries. I'm gonna take the Scorpion. We take the top turret and the Scorpion, but that's... yeah, it's not gonna give me enough gold. I'm just gonna go farm a couple more minions. The Scorpion could, in theory, too, get the minions, but I just wanna ensure that I get them to get my full item. Alright, this room should get it. There we go. We're gonna pick up our Leandry's Torment, and now we're already super fed. And the awesome thing about Teemo, once you take the first turret, is that he's a great roaming champion. I have no need to overextend. I can start looking for roams. I can definitely punish this Morgana. I can like one-shot her pretty much. Oh, she's already dead from the Victor. We can go for the Renekton, who is really tanky, but once our Rift Maker starts kicking in, our damage becomes really, really high. Oh, Thresh is here too. Dodge the Flay. Got the Renekton with our poison, and now we can chase down the Thresh even. Okay, Xin Zhao and Lucian are both here, so we're gonna run down. We need to make sure that our position is good. Lucian walks straight into this room, which is great. And now that my team is following up, we can go back in. That's exactly how you want to play Teemo, right? That's exactly it. And we're gonna be able to take down the Lucian too. We ambushed the Renekton and the Morgana. We continued fighting. We placed smart shrooms. When Xin Zhao and Lucian came, we backed off, baited Lucian into this room. Our team came for the follow-up, and we went back in. That's exactly how you want to play fights with Teemo. I really want to get this turret, but it seems like Renekton won't let me. Yeah, he can't do anything against us at this point. We're just too far ahead. His damage is too low. Yeah, his damage is way too low. We're like 4,000 gold ahead. Next up this game, I do want to go for Malignance and play with my shrooms. I think it's really hard for the enemy team to kind of deal with our shroom, especially when we're this far ahead, right? Because it's really hard for the enemy team to just clear the shrooms. They always have to be afraid of us collapsing into them. So Malignance is a pretty good item when you're ahead. I could go for Crown here, I could go for Death Cap. When you're this far ahead, you have many options. Gonna wait for the Scorpion and continue my split pushing. I want to push the wave and then look to roam with my Invis and catch out enemies. So I'm just gonna push one more. It looks like a fight is happening, so I'm gonna go and join that after pushing the wave. I can maybe loop around and go for the Lucian. Hello, Lucian. There we go, drop the Ignite, and that's more than enough. I probably didn't even need the Ignite there. And as my team pushes mid, I'm gonna go and push the bot wave. That's exactly what you want to do with Teemo, right? You're a little ambush assassin. Pinging my team to get the turret. Shrooms behind me, always shrooms behind me, so I'm always safe. Even if somebody comes, I can just immediately run away. So you always want to have a path where you can get out. That's actually a really bad shroom, that last one, because there's no way somebody's going to be hugging the wall while they walk, right? You do want to be somewhat unpredictable with your shrooms, especially in high reloads, because enemies start kind of recognizing where the Teemo shrooms are going to be. They kind of know, right? So you want to be a little unpredictable with them. Okay, my team's taking a pretty bad fight. We should have the overextend quite a bit. Maybe we can pick someone off though. Xin Zhao is kind of low. We have to be a little careful. Oh, I dashed into the wall. We did get the Xin Zhao, and we do have our shrooms to protect us. Again, we just run back into the shrooms, and there's nothing they can do. They can't keep chasing. Morgana is very overextended. I'm just waiting for my Invis. Go Invis out of vision, and this should just be a free kill. She does have bone plating. Is it gonna be enough? Oh, she gets her black shield. It's not enough. That's unlucky. Thankfully, Renekton did not have enough damage, so we can just run away. But that was a little risky. I got hit by the Morgana first ability there, and I wasn't even able to take her down. If I had Infinity Orb, she would be gone. Oh, never mind. She's walking back into this room. This room that I said was terrible ended up getting us a kill because she did walk into the wall. Oh, she can beat us, by the way. We have her blind up. Yeah, champions like Xin Zhao struggle against Teemo because you just shroom on top of you, they jump on top of you, they get shroomed, then you use your first ability to stop all their damage and you just kill them. I'm pinging for Baron. Looks like my team is slowly following up. We'll get a free Baron. I kind of want to go catch that top wave after as well. But this game is gonna be a wrap, it looks like. The mid lane gameplay, I'll probably get gameplay that's a little closer because this is a bit of a stomp. However, it is still teaching you for the most part how to play Teemo in the Baron lane and what you're supposed to do. When you're playing in the Baron lane too, it's kind of, because you don't have that much map impact. I did make a couple good roams mid lane, right? But because you don't have a lot of map impact, it's really important to focus on the 1v1. In mid lane is more about doing your roams, you know, helping your team, influencing the map. It's not just about the pure 1v1. And we got our death cap, so we're gonna base. Perfect. And now our damage is absolutely insane. Our Shroom's damage is absolutely insane, especially with Malignance. So this game is gonna be a wrap. We're just gonna immediately go and split push in the bot lane. And we should be able to end on this Baron, honestly, because their Nexus no longer has a shield because we've opened up the inhibitors. So we probably won't even need a third dragon. We can probably end the game here. We're so far ahead. We can look for Lucian here by going invis. I'm just gonna go all the way around. Oh, there we go, steal that kill. And we should just be able to end here. Our damage is too high, my team's too fed as well. Okay, perfect. Now that you saw how to play in the Baron lane versus Bruisers, let's find out how to play in the mid lane. Okay, mid lane is a little different, and instead of going for Fleet Footwork, we are going for Electrocute to get that burst off. Or versus Veigar, who does counter us, especially later into the game. However, in the early game, we can... Oh, I don't think he saw us. Oh, this is gonna be really good, because Teemo's level 1 is insanely strong because of our passive. Oh, we're gonna win the lane just off this. We're gonna have to push it. We're gonna push him off the lane. He's committing for the all-in. We win this, by the way. Oh, and he gets, and we get the flash. He completely griefed. Teemo again has one of the strongest level 1s because of his passive. He does more damage than any other champion. Or most champions at least, even AD champions. So we're gonna be able to sneak a first blood, which is very important in this matchup. To try and abuse Veigar early, because once he gets even one item, he one-shots us, pretty much, right? Even if he misses his second ability, just his first ability and no attack and ultimate will usually be enough to just kill us. He went for this greedy early ward, which I now will clear up. Thank you for the extra EXP. And for the first blood. Oh, he's level 3 here, so I need to kind of dodge his abilities. I proc my Electrocute. Oh, I didn't dodge that. Oof, took a lot of poke there. Yeah, he makes the mistake of going for extended trades, which he's not gonna win with his cooldowns down. But we did take a lot of damage there, so we gotta be a little more careful. We need to do a better job dodging within his circle. I do have flash up, so I can flash over his cage and kill him, and flash over his abilities. Again, I'm keeping the wave in my side of the lane. What I can do now that my third ability is up, go out of vision. I'm just gonna go out of vision, use my third ability. I can flash over. Perfect. And that's another solo kill because he still doesn't have flash. Perfectly played. Let's take a look. Let's see what that looked like from his point of view. I'm gonna jump on the replay and we can see what it looked like from his point of view. Okay, so Teemo is on the map, he's on the map, he's on the map. And boom, he's gone. But now you don't know exactly where he is, if he's coming at you, if he's running away. Obviously, experienced players would run away here, but then you can abuse this tactic to constantly go back out of vision, and they don't know if you're running at them or not, right? They don't know what's happening. They don't know if they can walk up or not. They don't know where you are. So even the lack of information allows you to go for roams, deep wards. You can do whatever you want just by scaring them off that you might be there, you know? So we're gonna base and get our Boots of Mana. In this game, we're gonna go for Infinity Orb because we're looking to burst down this Veigar, burst down the Ezreal, burst down the Jace. Probably not the Siren or the Leona, they're a little too tanky. We're gonna go Invis outside of the... Oh, there we go, good poke. I don't know what my Ambessa is doing, she's completely griefing me. But again, we're gonna go outside of vision, we're gonna go Invis as we come into lane to get a good trade-off. And there's little to no counterplay to going invis outside of vision, right? Because again, the enemy doesn't know if you're actually coming or if you're doing something else. There's just a lack of information, so they have to operate as if you're there, even if you're not. And again, I'm doing the exact same thing. Invis out of base, invis out of vision. Oh, we got hit by everything. Okay. We will die here because we kind of got hit by everything. It's really hard to dodge his abilities within the circle without getting stunned. So we will trade 1-for-1, and this is why it's a hard matchup, right? His burst is insane. We were already 2-0 and he still one-shot us, right? While being kind of far behind. We did take a lot of minion damage there too. But if we had flash, we could have flashed these spells and just killed him, you know? And that's the magic of Teemo. The wave is in a really good spot, because again, he had many minions, so it's gonna push into me. Again, I'm gonna go invis outside of his vision and go for a quick trade. There's a stream behind him, he could run into it, he does. Okay, and he flashes away. I don't think I could have followed up that well, because, oh, there comes the Scion, and we're gonna dash right out of there. Okay, we're just gonna farm this wave. Use my ulti to farm the minions, in case they get any funky ideas. Perfect, we got all of them. And my invis coming back up, so we're gonna do the same thing. Camouflage out of vision. He doesn't know if I have base, he doesn't know what I'm doing. He can't walk up. He doesn't know if I've based here. He doesn't know where I am. So I'm assuming he's going base, but he's gonna miss that cannon minion, which is perfect for us. We're just gonna deny him some more gold. If you guys saw my mid lane, this was a members only video, but if you did see my mid lane trading and wave management and level up timers video, you can see a lot of the fundamentals that I'm applying here. If you are interested in improving your fundamentals and you want to support my channel further, please become a member. I would really appreciate it, and you have access to these educational once a month of videos that are exclusive member videos. Looks like Vigor did a little roam. Oh, and Jace is getting completely caught up by Mbessa. I'm committing. Oh, okay, I'm committing by myself. Okay, that was kind of it. Yeah, my bot lane was dead, so that was just not a great commit. I did think Leona and Ezreal were base 2, and it was just a 2v2, and we would just hard win the 2v2. So that's kind of a mistake on my end, and we are behind, but good, right? Because the other game was a stomp. This game, I'll kind of show you, how to play from behind as well. Because Teemo is kind of hard to play from behind. Once you fall behind with Teemo, he's really hard to play. Because if you just get one shot before you can one-shot enemies, the game becomes kind of hard. Again, we're going to do the same thing. Invis out of vision. If he steps on the stream, he's dead. There we go. Looks like he doesn't even have his third ability up. Perfect. We're going to pick up another kill. And that's a shutdown on the Veigar. Have to be a little careful here because we're low. Get the blind off. Perfect. We have to be a little careful. He's kind of trolling with where he's walking, though. Okay, he flashes away. Alright, we should be able to get this turret, all three of us. I don't think Jace can stop us. Oh, we took turret aggro from the poison damage, which lasts for so long, by the way. How broken is Teemo? Gonna place a shroom for the wave clear, even though I went in between the minions, unfortunately. Jace is being greedy here. Oh, he dodged the hook, but he's going in. What is Jace doing? Oh, I thought Veigar maybe would be able to follow up. Hello, Leona. Leona roamed on us and will die to the ignite, but she should go down too. So I'd say worth, right? Because Leona got the kill and she's a support. Of course, we're going to build Liandry second. Like I said, Liandry second is a must. You can get it first if you want to. I'm not a big fan of Liandry's first. I do prefer going for Riftmaker, Infinity Orb, an item like that. But Liandry's first also works. Moral and Omicron, right? Those are better first items in my opinion, depending on the situation. But Liandry's first, if you're not sure what to get, is also fine. Liandry is like one of the best must-get items on Teemo. Okay, I see you, Mbessa. Yeah, the problem is you're just gonna get booted. Vigor is pretty good against Mbessa. Vigor is really good against all the dash champions. Oh, the arrow missed from the Ashe, unfortunate. Okay, we're gonna clear up the mid wave and we're gonna look to start roaming. This is what Teemo mid is so good for, influencing the map. We're gonna drop a shroom in case the enemy jungler comes. We're gonna drop shrooms behind them. Oh, he's overcommitting. What I should have done there is definitely drop a shroom behind them, but we're still gonna be able to get the Ezreal, I think. Perfect. And now we're gonna hit the Leona. We're not gonna be able to get the Leona, she's too tanky. Thank you for the Leona buffs, Riot, but we do get the Teemo. Excuse me, the Ezreal. What I should have done is drop shrooms behind them, and maybe we'll get the Leona too. Now I'm gonna run to my lane. I do need to be really careful. Veigar just one-shotting me. Okay, he did get hit by the shrooms, and we got his crown. We're just gonna slow play this. Again, I can't really just run into him. I do have flash. I can flash over his abilities. Oh, I lost vision. I think he dies to that, though. Maybe we can kite this guy out. He's blinded. There's the shroom. Oh, we barely survive. Okay, and we do get the Veigar. Oof, that was really close. I trolled with that vision there. And we're able to escape the Jace quite well as well, thanks to the blind. Oh, Ambessa kind of griefing. And we'll be able to get our Leandries perfectly played. And that's exactly how you want to play with Teemo, right? After I did my initial combo, I knew that I had nothing left. If I kept chasing into the Veigar, he would likely one-shot me, right? So we played that fight very, very well. We're probably going to need Crown eventually this game too. Alright, let's see if we can look for another roam onto the Ezreal. I could have gone Invis earlier in case I have a ward there. Oh, Leona's coming to face check. Oh, she just warded. Okay, it's a little tricky. Okay, Ezreal walked right into it. He's griefing. I think that should be enough with the Leandries, by the way. It's gonna be really close. Oh no, the last tick didn't kill him. Okay, he dies with the Leandries. And we should be able to get the Leona as well. Just one more roll attack. There we go. And that's double kill for the young Timothy. And that's what's so dangerous about Teemo mid. Because you don't have to defend the side lane constantly. It's a lot easier to make these roams. And Teemo roams are just so deadly with his third ability, especially when you're this far ahead and you do so much damage. And that's our 8th kill. This game is going really well, and we have slowly managed with these roams to get the lead. It's 16 kills to 14 kills. We're still quite even in gold though, because the enemy dual lane is pretty far ahead. Even though we just gave him 3 good roams. So we do know there's a ward here. I'm just gonna go try and clear some vision. I do see Sion coming and Ezreal, so this is a little dangerous. Yeah, ward's gonna back off. Throw a shroom on the entrance. Ezreal stepped on it even though they saw it. Okay, that guy does not know what shrooms do. Oh, he actually caught us here. Oh, I walked into the stun to dodge the second ability. The Ash Arrow does miss, unfortunately. There's 3 of my teammates top lane, even though Dragon is up. Oh, Veigar is basing here. Oh my god. Okay, I dodged his second ability and he still almost one-shot me, by the way. That was just a no attack, first ability, and his ultimate almost one-shot me. I think actually he could have killed me if he just did first ability, auto attack, proc electrocute, and then ult me, because I would have less missing health. Okay, I need to be a little... Or more missing health, excuse me. I need to be a little careful here. Yeah, my team is still top lane, so I guess we're just leaving the dragon. Maybe I can bait them into the rooms. Oh, I got hit by that. I'm dead. Okay, oops. I should have either dodged the Leona third ability or flashed it. I was trying to bait them into the shrooms, maybe like stall out the dragon, but that did not work. Pretty big mistake from me, no point to do that. Gave them a shutdown for no reason. And we're not ahead in gold, by the way, we're 1k gold up. Ezreal is an absolute monster, and I'm the only one that's really, really fat in my team. Oh, my team might be griefing here too. They totally are. Oh, this is gonna be a hard game, boys. Okay. Okay, Darius, pop off. Oh no, he missed his first ability. He didn't get it on the outward part of it. Okay, he still kills him with Ignite and the Bleed. Maybe I can chase this Teemo and Jace here. Gonna go around the ward so they don't see me. Okay, Ash Arrow. There we go. That's the Ash Arrow, and he should be dead pretty easily. And we can go for the Ezreal too. I'm gonna place him behind him. I think he ran into River, but I can't risk going there. I don't know who's there. Okay, we see Sion on top side. Yeah, Leona is there. Good thing I didn't go. Shroom. Oh, got vision of her. Can I clear out the ward, go push out mid lane, and we do have enough gold for our death cap, which is a pretty big spike for us. Yeah, getting death cap on Teemo is good, but obviously there's so many other good items on Teemo that like it's not even necessary to get death cap until like 4th or 5th item. So Sion, just gonna poke him a little bit. Need to be a little careful, don't know where his team is. Looks like there's gonna be a fight here. I'm just gonna go invis and go for the Ezreal. Now back away a little bit. Be very careful. I'm staying on max range, or trying to. But since I've already killed Ezreal, this should be a winning fight. There we go, Darius. Now I can go for the Veigar too. And that's a perfect example of how you want to play Teemo fights. I would have liked to have more shrooms there for that fight. But that's a perfect example of how to play Teemo fights. Okay, my team does not want the free Baron. Actually, it would be hard to get because I don't know if anybody can tank it. I think we could still get it though. But it's a perfect example of how to play Teemo fights, right? I go invis. I think they still kind of saw me with a plant. I did think they have vision of me. But I focus one of their carries down. Usually their ADC, Ezreal. Dropping the blind on him will help as well. and my team is able to take him down. Then I run away as the enemy's team starts going on me, right? The Leona, the Jace. I try to stay in max range and get as many auto attacks as I can off to start doing DPS with my Poison and Leandries. I start dropping the shrooms, and then I can clean up later into the fight. Teemo has so much mobility with his second ability passive, right? That if you run out of the fight and you get back your movement speed, you can easily go back in. Okay, my team's getting caught here. Both of them died. So the enemy team's gonna get a free Baron unless I make some clutch plays here. Kinda waiting for Ezreal. There's Ezreal. Perfect. One more attack. One more attack should do it. I can flash away here. Okay, it does do it. Good. We have red buff, Leandries, and Infinity Orb. So the damage is really insane. Okay, we're clutching this up. We got 2 kills. Have to be a little careful here. Oh, this is warded. Okay, I'll go Invis. Maybe we can look for Jace here. He's being really greedy. He stepped into this room. Got the Jace as well. Okay, we saved the game. We saved the Baron. Gonna take that. Thank you very much, Sion. And look how fast we are now. Oh, he's ulting us, but we can just sidestep it with our second ability. We're so fast. Okay, there's the Leona. And we completely clutched that by assassinating the Ezreal and then picking off the Jace as well. And the enemies won't be able to get the Baron. And that's literally exactly how you want to play Teemo, right? That's a perfect example of how you want to play Teemo. We threw down important shrooms, which Jace ended up walking into. We assassinated the Ezreal. We had shrooms behind us, so when Jace tried to kill us after we killed Ezreal, he stepped into this room. I think it's probably the perfect example of how to play Teemo. This gameplay is turning out to be a perfect guide for Teemo. Oh, Ezreal is again caught out. Another attack with Ignite should do it. I think that's gonna be enough, by the way. And it is enough. How broken is Teemo, man? Oh, I got exhausted. I don't really have a lot of shrooms here. I need to run away. But Leona is overextending way too much because we have our second ability movement speed, and we're gonna be able to take down Leona as well. Nah, Teemo is just way too broken, man. We're gonna go Invis and go around. And that's exactly how you wanna play Teemo, like an ambush assassin, right? And now we're again in position behind the enemy team to take them down. I don't know if we can end the game, probably not, because the Ezreal is spawning in a bit. We still don't have inhibitors. Maybe we could end if we all went mid. The problem is that there's still the Nexus Shield for 30 seconds and Ezreal is spawning. I think Baron is the right call just to be safe. And then we also need to run to Dragon because this is third Dragon for them and it will be Infernal. I don't know if my Ambessa realized that, but it's okay. I can probably solo it, especially if Ashe helps DPS. There we go. Perfect. I don't know why Jace is just standing there. And last time I will get Riftmaker. Now that I have my crown as well, I'm very safe from the Leona counter engage once I do pop out of my invisibility. Definitely a good game for crown. When you're playing against these hard engaged champions, crown is so good. Like a Nautilus, right? Being able to stop his ulti or his grab. Hello, Ezreal. We're gonna go Invis. Oh, he does not know where we are. And that should be more than enough, but we'll do another attack just in case. We even got his flash. Perfect, and that's legendary. Now we're gonna push with Baron. Again, you wanna push multiple lanes when you have Baron. Maybe we can look for another... Oh, run away, run away, run away. Oof, this guy can one-shot us, by the way. Okay, let's see it. And that should be enough. He's not able to get a one-shot on us. We still have blind for the Jace. We will win this too, by the way. Yeah, we're just too far ahead. He doesn't have enough damage to kill us. Teemo is just way too strong in the late game, and once you get like full items or almost full items, you're just way too strong. Hello, Leona. Yeah, another kill on the Leona. Oh, the Ambessa stole it. We didn't drop the 20 bomb because Leona stole our kill. Saj. And we're gonna be able to win the game. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. Thank you so much for being part of the channel, and subscribe for more Wild Rift content.